I have to turn that off, otherwise I hear myself echo. Right, we are ready. Let's go. Yeah, so a quiet week ahead. Very little data on the front. We've got ECB meeting. These weekly charts are fairly flat. This is the Dow, just a couple of hundred pips higher. So we on the low we dipped into last week's range and closed a couple of hundred pips higher. Not much. We are looking. I think we're going to continue the same. That's the safest thing to say, isn't it? We've got all this resistance up there at this 34,800 with a sharp drop from 34,800 on the week beginning 10th of May. So at the moment, any pullback to about 34,200 on the Dow is still potentially viable. We are high. RSI is high, but that just means the market is strong, not necessarily overbought. No divergence. I was going to say no significant divergence. There is no divergence, full stop. Let's look at the Nasdaq. Nasdaq had the same kind of week. So it's that time of year, isn't it? We are seeing lower volumes and the market's sitting there. So we could, if the volumes do dry up, we could get a pullback at some stage. Let's look at the European markets, the Nasdaq, DAX. So the DAX is performing better. That's made a new 2021 high this week. And is right under that resistance. ECB this week as well, so not expecting ECB to upset the markets actually. Yeah, if you go by that trend line, then that would take us into 16,000 from 15,670. That will make sense. Again, RSI is red, meaning the markets are strong, but that is a good weekly close. Let's have a look at the Footsie. Footsie just sitting back a little bit here. So we're just really very flat. The fizz has gone out of the market with volume. In fact, let's put volume. I should have volume on this. Put volume on this. Yeah, you can see the volumes are dropping off. That whenever you get volumes dropping off, that could create a bit of a vacuum in the market and mean that we could pull back. So just something to be aware of. But there's certainly no reason to sell this market. There's no sell signals. So in theory, dips are still viable in this market. Right, let's go across to commodities. Gold, flat. Bit of a spinning top, so it looks as if I think we'll potentially stay in that range. If we're going to consolidate, we do need a dip. So at some stage you might see that dip into 1825, 1850, but no reason to sell silver. Same story. I'm still looking for that to get to 30. So any pullback to 26.50, 27 is still viable in that one. But we've got this volume issue. Oil had a great week. So I've got major resistance up there at 72.60. If we do see, at the moment, based on this weekly, 67.50 is the pullback. Let's look at copper. Okay, copper's really struggling up here. It's been on a massive run. I can't help thinking that that is going to have to seek a lower price before that gets going any further leg up. But no reason to sell. Beans closed above 15 bucks. That looks as if that is wanting to go back up to those highs and beyond. And wheat is, so this pullback to $6.40 has got bought. It closed at $6.86. I think the 650 now is the price to get in if you want to get in on this. And then I think we're going to $7.80. So have a look at gas. Gas is sitting up very well, considering the time of year we're in. Certainly, yeah, I'm looking to buy this late summer. So I need this to pull right back to as close as I can get to 2021. But in the meantime, it's not doing it. Right, moving on. Quick look at the dollar. Looks as if we might get a higher number in the dollar. It's in a clear downtrend, but there is some buying down here, and there is some divergence creeping in. Yeah, I just wonder if that could just get a little bit of a pop back up. Pound, still in the Brexit zone. Certainly struggling. So all these markets, commodities, currencies, indices, all sitting up in support, not going anywhere. Let's get straight. Let's have a quick look at the pound and the euro, then we'll dive into stocks. Euro looks lower. ECB on Thursday. At this stage, I would say that looks lower. Because we've engulfed, we've closed under the previous week's high. We've engulfed the previous week, so I think at the very least that needs a pullback. Just going to backtrack a bit and just have a look at Chinese and Japanese indices. Japan sitting up, looking higher. China lower close. So it might want to pull back a little bit further, but holding up. So we'll quick look at Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin got very, very extended, very divergent up there. There's the divergence. Whoops. So you can see divergence in RSI just as any indicator like that. What do I think is going to happen? I think we'll potentially come back to 30, closer to 30,000, and then it's a question of whether they are going to pick that up. Right, stocks. Going to just quickly whiz through my list. BT's 177, holding up, looks higher. Rolls-Royce. Had a good week. Closed at 107. Looks as if that can push higher. POG closed at 25.5. Looks higher. IQE sideways at 54. Just experiencing low volumes. John Wood sideways. Hammerson. Oh, Hammerson's had a good week. Just under 41, 40.80. That still looks higher, struggling a bit, flat like everything else. Tallow held up at 59. Sage held up. Money Supermarket. Let's pull that one up. Money Supermarket. MONY. Yeah, not going anywhere at the moment. This is the weekly chart. Just stuck in this little apex. Lower close. So might see 260. Volumes are okay, not brilliant. Okay, let me just carry on with my quick scan. SSE, okay, sideways. A lot of sideways action. Even in US stuff. Right, let's just I've got a little list here from the scan I did last week, so let me go through this. OTG. This is sitting up. Learning Tech Group. It's right on support. So we've been as high as 190, sitting there at 160. I think at the moment I think we might see 150 again, but I am interested in that one. I think we might see that hopefully we'll see that one drift lower. AIDG. Not written the name down for that one, so I'll move on. AAIF. Aberdeen Asian Fund. Yeah, that needs a pullback as well. It's got all the elements. It's looking higher, but it's sitting up a little too high for me. So I need a pullback in that one. EKF. It's been as high as 81. Let's look at the daily. See, it's got a lot of support. Need that gap. Yeah, I would sit back and wait to see if that can get back to 70. So unfortunately, this is going to end up being a watch list rather than as a cheapie. No, nope, I'm not going to risk that one. That's coming off my list. PCTN. No, they're all sitting up too high. PMG. It's a very low volume stock. As high as 49. I'm not a big fan, I have to say. It's a scrappy chart. Volumes are not great. That might even be an AIM stock. The volumes are so low. In fact, there must be an AIM stock. Right. Anything else you want to look at? Let me pick my list up and carry on doing my quick visual scan. TUI flat. Cardo's got a buy signal. New low, close above. So Cardo is a potential. Lloyd's looks like it needs a pullback. Green core. This has been a good trending stock, but it's really suffering. 172, significant pullback on volume. I'll stand aside on that one. Glaxo still sitting up. Right, now I'll come to yours in a second. BP not doing much. There's a lot of stocks out there not doing much. LSE. Yeah, this was somebody called this last week, didn't they? That's definitely looking good. I think that can continue that recovery. It's hit a bit of a wall there, but volumes are picking up. I can see that. So any pullbacks in LSE at 75 are worth a shot. EasyJet suffering. EasyJet looks as if that can come back to 88. Right, let's have a look at yours. ENPH. EU metals. Yeah. Are you in this already, or are you looking at it? So it's been as high as 103. I would sit tight, see if you get 69.70 in that. Stan, okay, I've not taken my eye off Stan, so let's have a look at where Stan is. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, this is good because it's a good stock, but it looks as if it's just pulling back. I would like to see Stan at 475. It appears to be just drifting lower. So I think we can come back to 475. Tell me if you think any differently. HSBC. Yeah, looks as if that's coming down to 435. It's fine. It's all right. It's just suffering from low volume. Legal and general. Very, very similar pattern. Hit a bit of a barrier at the highs, pulling back. ENPH. So we're basically seeing some profit taking and lower volumes. Profit taking off of highs, pulling back. So this one looks as if if it closes above this 140, then we can potentially start to climb back up. I do like this. Is a good one. ENPH. You called this a bit, at least maybe 2 weeks ago, didn't you? I think. So it was down there at 109. It's been up there at 145. So there's a nice little run. I think it can potentially, it might pull back to 120, 125. You know, I would be patient. I think this is a time to be patient. I think if I just show you this is the Dow cycle, and over a 20-year average. This is why I'm cautious. This is why I'm not charging into anything. On a 20-year average, you tend to get a pullback in June. Tend to get a deep pullback in the second half of June. So we're sitting up this, and this is pretty much where the indices are at the moment. So we did have a decent push out of March into April, dipped in May. Well, we've come up in June. So we are playing out for this 20-year average. Let me enlarge that. So that's not to say this is what's going to happen. Obviously, because we've got a different sort of cycle, really. But this as a 20-year average, this is a good guide to what may happen. So at the moment, we seem to be in this sort of early June potential to come up. But just be careful, because if we lose our footing and we lose the April May support, we could fall in line with this average. Yeah, I tend to find on average that this period here is when markets tend to shake off the summer doldrums and start to pick up. Back second or third week in August. This 20-year average is suggesting the end of June. Third, fourth week in June is a good period to get in for a bounce. Let's see. Well, let's go back to the indices a second. Just marry that up with what we were seeing. Let's go to the Footsie. No, so I've got to go to the Dow because I spend that most of the time looking at that. So this is the daily Dow. So we had this big drop on 10th of May. So we're pushing up. See, I think we had an ABC correction which completed in the middle of May. ever since we had that correction, we are pushing back into this pink zone. So if we close above 34,800, then that opens the door to get back to 35k and punch through 35k. But if we start closing underneath that, then we are in trouble. So sitting up, we're bullish, no reason to sell. Actually, volumes on this are not too bad. The Friday jobs number was good. So I think on those stocks we just looked at, particularly ones that are on your watch list, there's no reason why, I don't think there's any reason why you shouldn't scale in if you're patient for pullbacks. Just manage the risk. If you look at this time last year, let's go back to this time last year. Yeah, so we did this pretty much almost to the day this time last year. We did experience a big pullback. So this fits in with what the averages are telling us, the 20-year average. So we had a good run into early June, sorry. And then we had a 1, 2, 3 wave correction. And then we started to wind up in July and August. And then did another 1, 2, 3 correction into November. So we saw a lot of profit taking in early September, end of August, early September, and a lot of profit taking in August, but pullbacks in the back end of October into the early November, which saw us run. So we now bring that forward and have yet another look at where we are. Yeah, what we're seeing here could be a repeat of what we saw here. So we could get into this towards potentially 36k if we can get in that pink zone and stay in there. And that goes with all the indices. All the indices are very, European indices are very, very similar. So I think your watch list is a good one. I like it. I like Stan and the ENPH. I just think it's a question of being cautious. Let's have a look at the miners. Yeah, so this Pan-African, so just switching, has gone right into resistance up there. And just pulling back to support. So that's, keep an eye out for 20 on that one. We come up from 15. Yeah, that's a good one. Whereas POG is still POG's looking better. It's got volume on it, so I do like POG. Right, any others you want me to look at? Otherwise, let's have a look at gold on the daily, because I think I looked at gold on the weekly. Yeah, so Paul, look at this. We broke out of this resistance on mid-May, went on a little run, and then now we've come back to test the upside of that trend line. So you might see some deeper retracements in gold, but overall I think we're heading back up to 1950, 2000. It's a good trending market. So I like those miners. All right, I'm going to run now. Thank you very much for joining me. I will be around on Wednesday as usual. And enjoy what's left of your weekend. Okay. I'll tell you what, just one last thing. Yeah, just had a request to look at these US stocks. So Fubo, I think Fubo could pull back, but I think that's potentially going up to 30, 35. Bit hard to call because it's hit a lot of resistance and the volume's not great. So I think it could come all the way back to 24, but I think it could head up to 30, 35 plus. Skills. Well, let's look at PLTR. Same story. It's been a nice run, decent volume. Might pull back to 21. I think that will head up potentially if you hold on to it long enough, as long as it doesn't have any nasty drops. That could go back to 30 plus. Right, that's it. I'm off. Thanks very much. See you then.